Assalamualaikum, my name is Asha and welcome back to Ramadan in my kitchen. Today's my last episode with you guys, but if you've missed my previous episodes, you can always catch them on Salam TV's YouTube channel. This would also mean that at the time of this recording, we're about approximately a week away from Hari Raya. And as we know, Hari Raya this year would be different, not just for us in Singapore, but for all Muslims all over the world. But fret not, because I really believe that we've been really so lucky and blessed to be able to experience what we are currently experiencing right now. And I trust that inshallah everything that happens has hikmah, and it is our duty as Muslims to continue to have good faith and good thoughts towards Allah and the plans that He has planned for us. So for today's recipe, it's something a little bit special because I'm already feeling the festive vibe. I wanted a recipe that is simple, quick, and easy to get ingredients, because I understand now that everywhere in Singapore it's hard to get ingredients to bake your kuehs and your cakes. So this is a simple melt and mix shortbread recipe. So this recipe, shortbread itself is like a biscuit, but a crumbly, buttery, kind of melt in your mouth kind of biscuit, which I absolutely love to have with tea. Sometimes I have it with as a snack, or even sometimes as a little treat just before I sleep. So this shortbread recipe, it's a basic recipe, but you can modify it, meaning you can add cocoa powder or you can add flours, which I will be sharing with you today. But basically it's a nice and easy recipe, easy enough for beginners, easy enough for kids to help, and hopefully as well easy enough for you to get the ingredients at your local supermarket. So we'll get started and I will introduce to you the ingredients that you need. Okay, so for the ingredients, you will need flour, okay, plain flour. You will also need corn flour, caster sugar. I couldn't find caster sugar, so I'm using fine sugar. So you do what you can. And then we also have icing sugar. I'll put the recipe right at the end so that you would know the quantity that we would need. And then you need butter as well. I'm using a block of butter, 250 grams of butter. You'll need some vanilla essence, or if you have like a vanilla pot, that would really be nice as well, because then you'll get speckles of vanilla on your shortbread. And lastly, I always love to add a little extra magic into my kueh or my cakes that I make. So I'm adding dried lavender flowers. So when it comes to adding flowers, make sure that you only add a little bit of quantity. This is because flowers have their own scent and taste that may overpower the whole biscuit itself, or the whole shortbread itself, whatever you're making. So I'm just using 1 teaspoon for this. Just a little tinge of lavender, so that when you dip your shortbread and you have it with your tea, you feel calm and relaxed. Okay, so those are just the ingredients you need. So before we get started, let's go into the equipment. So you'll need a kitchen mixer for this. Otherwise, you can use a hand mixer. You would need a whisk to whisk the ingredients. You would also need a sift, okay, to sift your flours. And lastly, you'll need a tray. Okay, I line mine with parchment paper or baking paper. A fork if you want, and a knife. The knife is used to actually create the lines on your shortbread just before you pop it in the oven. Let's get started! Alright, so the first thing you do is you want to attach your whisk attachment into your KitchenAid. And next thing you want to do is you want to add your butter. So this butter, I have already melted it. The melted butter has already been cooled, so be sure to ensure that your butter is slightly cooled down before you use it for this recipe. Once you've added your melted butter, you want to add in your next liquid, which is the vanilla essence. And do you want to add your sugar as well? So this is fine sugar I'm using. And you want to actually sift in your icing sugar. Icing sugar has been sifted in, you would like to add in your corn flour. And now you will mix it. Once your mixture has been mixed, lastly you want to add in your flour. Again, sift in your flour. And you also want to add your lavender. Fix in your paddle, your whisk attachment. Okay, so we've mixed the batter. You can smell, it smells so lovely, buttery. Okay, and because I added lavender as well, it has the very mild, flowery scent. Okay, it should look something like this, crumbly. Let me show it to you closer. Alright, and you're gonna pour this into your baking tray that's lined with parchment paper. So I've lined mine with parchment paper. You're gonna pour your shortbread batter in. Now using your spatula, flatten it and make sure that it's of even height. And you want to also use your spatula to smoothen the surface. It should take its shape almost immediately because this shortbread batter is very moldable. You can see. Okay, if your hands are clean, you can also gently pat. So if one side is not even, you move from the center, press and press out. So you'll push some of the batter here, where the side where there's not enough shortbread. So again, this part here does not have enough shortbread. I can see the height is different and this has more. So what I do is I press towards the area where it needs more shortbread. So it's important to spend some time on this step because you want your shortbread to bake evenly. You don't want one part to be uncooked because it's too thick, and if it's too thin, it would burn. So I just love the lovely speckles of lavender plus vanilla. Okay, I'm just smoothing this part here a little bit. Alright, there you have it. So the next thing you want to do is you want to take a knife. You're going to just use the tip and you will make lines to show, to separate them into different individual shortbread blocks. Okay, so usually what I like to do is I like to start from the center. Okay, you don't have to cut it through, just enough, maybe midway. And cut along the other side as well. So you can cut it as big or as small as you want. I like mine in blocks like this. You cannot use a cookie cutter for this because the batter will crumble. And then if you want, you can use a fork. And you know how shortbread always has this incisions, fork incisions. And just lightly make those marks on your shortbread. You can skip it if you don't want, but I like how it gives the very traditional look. And once you're done, it's time to put it in the oven. Alright, shortbread has been baked. It's been half an hour in the oven and it's now ready to be taken out. Prepare a cooling rack so that you have something to put on. I just really want to show you guys how the shortbread looks like. You can see, nice, buttery, and remember the fork incisions we made just now? It gives a very nice texture to your shortbread. So you want to cut this when it's still warm, because if you wait for it to harden, it will just crumble. But just cut it through. Don't take it out first until it has completely cooled down. So because you've made some lines prior to putting it in the oven, it will be much easier to just trace over it with your knife. We'll let this cool down and I'll show you the final results in a bit.